Hello, lovely people of the internet. I hope you are all doing well, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Katora, and today we're going to make a snake candelabra. I got the idea for this project last spooky season. Last year, the algorithm haunted me with snake candle holders, and I am telling you, I wanted one so terribly bad, but they were either too expensive or out of stock. So this year, I'll be crafting one of my own. I've narrowed down my idea to making a snake candelabra with 5 snakes twisting around each other. For the armature, I'll be using sculpture wire and 16 gauged galvanized steel wire. I cut both wires 24 inches long, then wrap them together. Repeat the process 5 times. I would like the height of my candelabra to be about 14 inches long. That leaves me with 6 inches for the tail and 4 inches for the head. For the head shape, I made 2 loops and then secured them together with masking tape. Once the snakes' heads were finished, I wrapped the wires around each other until I got a candelabra shape that I was happy with. For the sculpting part of this project, I'll be using Das air dry modeling clay. But before we can get to sculpting, we need to make our slip. This will act as our glue for the clay. When you are making your slip, you're looking for a mayonnaise-like consistency. To do this, I start with 50% clay, 50% water, and then go from there. Now that the slip is made, let's proceed with our project. I am kicking everything off with making the candle holding part of the candle holder. I start off by rolling out a piece of clay about that thin. Then I took that piece and cut it down to about 3.5 inches long and 1/2 inch tall. In hindsight, I would cut it down to 1 inch tall instead of 1/2 inch. It will help prevent wobbling of your candle later. I wrap the strip of clay around my candle to make sure I get the fit I want. Using some slip to help glue it in place, and then smoothing the 2 ends together. For the bottom of the candle holder, I just repeated the same process. Cut out the piece, scored it, slipped it, and smoothed the two pieces together. When everything was smoothed out, I set everything aside to dry for at least 24 hours. Moving on to the candelabra itself, I like to work in small sections. I just smush some clay on and then blend the pieces together. For the base layer of the candelabra, I'm not too picky at this phase with making it perfectly smooth. We're going to correct that later. This layer, I just want it to be secure to the frame and make sure there's no air pockets. Now that the armature is encased in clay, it's time to move on to our detail layer of clay. I'll start by adding a layer of slip, then scoring a piece of clay. When it comes to putting on the detail layer of clay, I am a little more picky than I was with the first layer to making sure everything is smoothed how I like it. For adding the scale texture, I'll be using these two tools. Also, when you're adding texture, it is a great way to hide your imperfections if your clay work is not perfectly smoothed. I would like to take a moment and thank you for watching this video. And if you haven't already, could you please give us a thumbs up? And if you really like our content and want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop. With the candle holder part nice and dry, it's time to add it to the opening of the snake candelabra. The reason why I let this piece dry completely before attaching it to the candelabra is because I didn't want the shape to collapse while I was working around it. I wanted the candelabra to have a medieval vibe to it, something similar to this. You know it's a snake when you look at it, but it really takes some creative liberties. For everyone playing along at home, I will have a list of the materials I used in the description. I also would like to note, the products we have shown in our video, we are not sponsored by any of them. Some little red gems will make perfect eyes for my snakes. At this point, I'm starting to realize my snakes have kind of pivoted more into the amphibian realm, rather than staying in the reptilian world. But I am too far in this project to go back now, so we're going to run with it. With the sculpting complete, it is time to inspect the snake candelabra for cracks. And to fill in the cracks, I'm just using some slip. With the cracks repaired, it is time to let our snake candelabra dry. I'm going to let it sit for 3 days before I begin to paint it. The beginning of the painting process starts out with a base coat of gesso and a little bit of blue acrylic paint to tint it. By adding the blue acrylic paint, it makes it easier to see where you have painted. For the layer of black paint, I chose golden because it has a nice glossy finish when it dries, and that'll help pop out the gold we're going to add next. I've heard a saying recently online, if you want to make it look old, use Grecian gold. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use some rub and buff to achieve this look. Now that everything has been rubbed on, it's time to buff it out to help give it that nice metallic sheen. If your candles are a little wobbly when placing them in your candelabra, you can add some museum wax to help hold them in place, or simply drip some wax from your candle in the bottom and stick your candle to it. I would like to thank you again for watching this video, and I hope this has inspired you to go out and create something of your own. My name is Katora, and I will see you next time.